Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Tech World with Rajendra. I'm putting this video almost up to 1 month due to some personal challenges. So from this video, I'm going to start about Kubernetes playlist where we'll see everything about Kubernetes. So the first topic of this playlist is what is container orchestration and why it is required. And we are also going to little bit talk about why Kubernetes is the best orchestrator right now and what all other orchestrators we have available. So let's start with what is container orchestration, right? So we already discussed completely about a Docker containers. We have the complete playlist around Docker where we talked about what is container, how we can create it, how to deploy it, right? If there are multiple containers, how they interact with each other. So now, whatever we have seen till now, we have seen everything on the one Docker host machine, okay? Where on top of operating system, we install the Docker, and then by using that Docker, we create multiple containers. So this is something we already see. But now let's talk about the production requirement. So in the production environment, deploying everything on a single machine is not a good idea, right? Because what if the system itself goes down? If the system goes down, all the microservices that are running, everything will be down, right? So now for that, what you'll think of having another Docker host, okay? And that in that Docker host, you might thinking of having a replica of, let's say this is a system A, you'll create another system B having a similar kind of a replica, right? So you'll install a Docker, and then on top of that Docker, you will just have a same set of containers, okay? So maybe you can keep this system A in the active mode and then B in the passive mode. So that, and you can have some kind of a load balancer here, okay? That will make sure that if this system A is active, it will keep sending the traffic to system A. If there is any challenge in the system A, it will send the traffic to B, and that B will become active, right? So this is the first option you might think of in a traditional way, right? But now, if let's say your system A is failed, everything is running on the B. Before your A recovers, what if your B goes down? So there is something we call it as a quorum where we have some formulas which decides what is the best way of having a backed up system. Okay, so usually it is considered as a 2+1 kind of a scenario where you should have always a backup for your system. Okay, so you might think of having another system. Okay, and in that system, you can have a similar kind of a setup. Okay, C1, C2, C3. So that this will work as another backup for the system. Now this will keep on and on. Like again, what happens if C goes down, right? So we need a mechanism, okay, which will make sure that the systems are coming back, okay? Or as well as now, if we keep adding multiple system, if you see, we are doing a kind of a similar deployment on all the machines, right? So this is a one requirement, okay, where we need a scheduling functionality, okay? We need a scheduling functionality. Through that, what we can do is we can make sure that our container will get scheduled on a specific machine, right? Because if till now we had only one host, so just we are creating a container and that was getting created. But now when we have multiple machines involved, or we call it as a Docker host, we need someone who will help us in a scheduling that container, whether it should go on container on system A or B or C or D. This kind of a scheduling mechanism we require. And that scheduler should work based on the available resources. It should not happen like It should always go and schedule on A. If we keep doing it at one point of time, your A system resources will be exhausted. So we should have a way which will understand what is the current availability and what is the requirement, and according to that, it will schedule that your container on a best node. So this is the first requirement for to have a someone who should do that. Okay. Now the second requirement is about the self-healing capability. Self-healing. Okay. Like let's say if this container C1 goes down, so we need some mechanism which will help us to basically automatically recover that container. Okay. Maybe on that same system or on some other system. So in a modern applications, now this is a very much required, because we cannot have just manual intervention every now and then. You cannot have just, if something goes wrong, okay, go and manually just restart that container or bring up that container. We should have a automatic mechanism for that. Okay. Now this is a second requirement. Now, what else we required? We need a load balancing, right? So for example, now you are creating one microservice. Let's say this is UI microservice. Okay. Now, a one microservice can process, let's say 100 requests per second. Okay. Let's say consider this is a Flipkart UI. Okay. Flipkart is an e-commerce website. Okay. It's a UI of that. And that the capacity of that microservice is that it can process 100 requests per second. Now, what if Flipkart website is getting 200 requests? Then having one UI microservice won't be enough. You need two. So that this can process 100 requests, this can process 100 requests. Because that's the maximum load testing, we can say, okay? Maximum load that this microservice can process. Now, if you have two instance or two replica of that same, we need something called as a load balancer, so that the traffic can be distributed between these two instances. So we need some load balancer. Okay. So that is again a nowadays requirement. So we need a load balancer which will distribute the traffic between these two. Okay. Now, the third thing is about resource allocation. Okay. So that comes mostly as a part of the scheduling, so that we should be able to allocate the resources. Okay. And we have basically there are different components do that, but yeah, it comes as a part of that itself. Okay. Now, what else we required? Now, let's say 200 requests we are getting and we have two instances. But now let's say there is a Flipkart sale is going to come. Okay. Obviously, if there is a sale, there is a lot of people going on the website and doing some purchase, right? So obviously the traffic is going to increase. So let's say in the sale time, we are getting 1,000 requests per second. Obviously, we need to scale that application from 2 instance to the 10 instance, right? So we need a mechanism of scaling. Okay. That should automatically scale from 2 to 10. And once the sale is over, we should be able to automatically scale down. So that scale up or scale down should happen automatically depending on the traffic. So we need someone who can do this for us, right? Also, nowadays, every application might have 10, 15, 20, 100 microservices as well. So we need a mechanism which will help us to monitor that applications or the microservices, or we call it as a health monitoring, right? Then if we have a multiple containers, we need to provide all the proper networking to all that, right? So let me add like kind of a networking stuff we need, right? We need a health monitoring. Okay. Health monitoring we required, and we need a help in the kind of a deployment of your application. Okay. So these are the few requirements we have. Okay. So the first is scheduling, then the self-healing, scaling, scale up, scale down, the networking, health monitoring, and deployment. So these are the requirements we have. right, for a nowadays applications. So exactly to satisfy all this requirement, we need a container orchestrator. Okay, we need some orchestrator which will help us to do all this, right? Without this, it's not possible. Okay, if you can want to do it this manually, it won't be feasible. Okay, it will take a lot of time, a lot of complexities are there. So we need an orchestrator. So basically, orchestrator is nothing but a kind of a tool which will do this automatically for us. Okay, depending on what we need to do, some configuration kind of stuff, or we need to tell that orchestrator, okay, this is what I want. Then orchestrator will read this and it will do things for us. Okay, so I hope everyone understood what is the need of container orchestrator. And now we are going to talk about what all the orchestrators are available. So let's talk about it. So the first solution we have is Docker Swarm. So from the Docker community itself, okay, they have created one container orchestrator. We call it as a Docker Swarm. Okay. The second and the most popular orchestrator is Kubernetes. So in this complete series, we are going to talk about Kubernetes. So we'll come back to this. Okay. Then there are a lot of other orchestrators are available. You must have heard about OpenShift. Okay. Then all the cloud companies have are providing orchestrator service. Okay, we call this as like from AWS, we have kind of a elastic Kubernetes service. Google provides Google Kubernetes engine. Okay, Microsoft basically provides Azure Kubernetes service. So these are basically orchestrator as a service provided by all the top three clouds. Okay, but we have some other solutions, like there is something called as a Mesos. Okay, this is from Apache organization. Okay, it also provides the container orchestration. We have something called as a DigitalOcean. Okay, they are also providing. Then we have one more, something called as a Rancher. Okay, so all these options we have available for available as a container orchestrator. But still, Kubernetes is something which is very popular. Why so? Because all this from 3 to 7 basically almost kind of a developed on top of Kubernetes itself. Okay, and all these are paid. That means if you want to use this, they have their own community edition as well. But if you are going for this, it's always you better to use the enterprise version. Okay, so if someone is not concerned about the more about the environment, they just wanted to focus on their application itself, they can simply go and use these services, and they can pay for that service to the all the service providers. Okay, and also they are already developed on top of your Kubernetes itself. Okay, so that's why if you are okay to pay, you can go ahead and use any of this service. Okay, now only two open source options are left, that is Docker Swarm and Kubernetes. Okay, then why the Kubernetes is getting popularity instead of a Docker Swarm? Okay, so if you see nowadays applications are very complex in the sense there is a huge requirement of a performance. Okay, there is a huge requirement of scale up, scale down. There are different mechanism we want to make sure we are scheduling our application in a proper way. Okay, with the different constraints. So basically all this stuff is available in the Docker Swarm, but it has its own limitations. Okay, but Kubernetes can provide all this in a very easy way. Okay, so that's where Kubernetes gets a lot of popularity. Okay, because it has a very better scheduling mechanism. It has different ways to basically deploy your application. Okay, it has its own inbuilt monitoring environment. Okay, so we get a lot of ready-made solutions in the form of Kubernetes.
Okay, but that's something we don't have in the Docker song. So if you have a very simple application which has very limited microservice, okay, limited complexity, in that case, you can go ahead and use the Docker song. But if your application is very complex, lot of scheduling constraint, lot of microservices you have, then in that case, you should go for a Kubernetes. And there is no available alternatives in the market right now. Okay, that's why nowadays kind of a Kubernetes is kind of must have skills for every engineer in the IT. Okay, so perfect. We'll talk more on the Kubernetes in the upcoming videos where we'll see everything about Kubernetes. I hope everyone understood what is container orchestration, why it is required, and what all the available orchestrators that we have. So thanks everyone. Stay tuned for next video. And if you have not subscribed the channel yet, please do like, subscribe, and share this channel with your circle. Thanks everyone.